Dear students, IBOAN, Education Department and NIE, National Institute of Education, with collaboration of different institutes. Basically, I am representing the Sri Lanka Institute of Technology, SLIT. They have arranged and we have started this Guru Gedara program again due to this corona menace, because these days you can't go to schools, and then your tuition classes also now not functioning, and because of that they have started the Guru Gedara program once again, and this time they have started these lessons in English as well. So this hour I am going to give you some ideas about physics. First part I will just talk why you have to learn physics, and then at the latter part of my presentation or the lecture I will discuss some of the things which are pertinent or which are related to the your exam and the physics testing. So first of all, let us try to find out why we want to learn physics. Because always as human beings, we do things because we have to do something. Otherwise, we won't do anything. Because we are, as human beings, we are fond of doing what is interesting and what is useful and what is good for us. So if you ask why you want to learn physics, I can give you, 50, 100 reasons, but we don't have time in order to investigate in detail. So I have selected three things why you all want to study or learn physics. Of course, some students might say we are compelled to learn physics. That's why we are learning physics. Some students might say that. Some students I know they like to learn physics, not only physics, even the other science subjects. So physics is common to both streams. So you might say we are compelled to do, or we have to do physics. That's why we are learning physics. But that is not a good answer, because as human beings we always do something which is useful, no, in life. As human beings we don't want to do any useless things. So the first thing that I want to tell you is we learn physics because physics is interesting. Physics is interesting. You might say this is not interesting for you all, but for me actually as a physics teacher, physics is a very, very interesting subject. Why I say physics is interesting? Because physics helps us to understand how the world around us works. This is one of the most important thing in physics, because as human beings you all know that we all want to know things, because even animals have that instincts, but human beings would like to know things around us. Why this happens, why this does not happen, why this is happening this way, why is not happening this way. So like that we always wanted to understand things around us. When you understand something, we are very happy. That is true even in our social life. If you all can understand your parents, your parents can understand you all. If you can understand your teachers, if you can understand your friends, and you will be very comfortable. You have a joy out of it. So that's why we want to learn physics, because using physics we can understand how the world around us works. And further than that, physics helps us to understand how things work from first principles. That is very important. So in physics, always you learn first principles, the laws, rules of nature, or rules of the universe. So you can't change those, because these rules and regulations are very concrete. These are not man-made rules. Man-made rules you can violate, but nature's laws you can't violate. Right? They are very concrete, like you can't change them. So throughout your physics course, you all are studying first principles. Newton's laws, Kirchhoff's laws, and so many things. You learn, these are the basic things that you learn in physics. So that's why even physics, you can't change physics in a grand manner. Even in a sort of a new syllabus, you can't revamp the subject physics, because physics is based on very basic principles. So even your children, children's children, children's children, so they all have to learn these basic rules and regulations of nature. So that's why we say physics is interesting, because using these first principles, you can explain so many vast different things around us. So therefore, when you try to explain, when we understand and when you try to explain things, then as human beings, we will be very happy. So that is the last thing I have included in this slide. Physics helps us to understand the laws of the universe. So actually in physics, we are not doing anything else. We try to unravel the laws of the universe. Right? That's what we are doing. That's why we always say physics is a very, very basic science subject, because physics deals with the fundamental things. We talk about fundamental forces, fundamental interactions, fundamental material things, what are the basic building blocks of the universe, how they interact, how they react with others. And we, or throughout your career or throughout your syllabus, you learn mechanics, heat, light, electricity, magnetism. Why? Because these are all, everything is useful for us. Sometimes you will understand that later in your life. Why you want to learn mechanics? Because things are moving in this world. If everything is stationary, then there won't be any mechanics. Mechanics means physics of motion. The things are moving. You have linear motion, rotational motion, vibrations. You know, there are so many types of motions around us. Basically, those are the three: translational, rotational, and vibrational. So that's why you learn these things. The vibrations are very important to understand sound. Because if you want to produce sound, then you have to vibrate something, either strings or air column or vocal cords. So why do you want to learn heat? Because heat is very useful for us. Basically, we use heat to do our cooking, and we use thermodynamics. Thermodynamics means using heat, you get some work done. Your refrigerators, air conditioners, heat engines. So why do you want to study light? Because without light we can't see. Right? So when there's something wrong in our eye, we have to rectify that. So why do you want to study electricity? Electricity is, without electricity we can't live in this world now. Right? Because when electricity was found by scientists, sometimes people have asked, what can you do with electricity? Now, if someone asks that question, you will say that person is foolish. Now you always ask, what can't you do with electricity? Even the nation, even a country, the development is measured by the electricity production. Then everything that you learn has some relationship to the things that you want in life. That's why you learn physics. That's why physics, we say, is interesting, because you don't want to learn anything which is not interesting. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you will be unhappy. As human beings, we always want to do something interesting, no? That is nature of human beings. We don't want to use things that we don't like. So I would say physics is one of the most interesting subjects in the world. That's why we want to learn physics. Now, the second thing is physics is useful. Now, interesting, okay, but most of the things, sometimes in our life also we find a lot of interesting things, but maybe all of them are not interesting. Not all of them are not useful. So, but physics is useful. Why I say like that? Because studying physics strengthens quantitative reasoning and problem solving skills that are valuable in areas beyond physics. So throughout our life, when we live, we have to solve problems. In life, you encounter difficult situations. right? The life is not like a bed of roses. You always find difficulties. So you should know how to solve them using scientific methods. So always physics and mathematics strengthens your quantitative reasoning. Because as a science student, you should have that quantitative reasoning, logical mind, logical thinking. So that is very important even in our when you want to live in this world happily. So that's why I have included even the second one. Physics provides quantitative and analytic skills. That is very important for human beings. Nowadays, educationalists are talking about these skills. Right? When we were young, like you all, the skill, nobody talks about the skills. Even we never knew that we had those skills. Now, a lot of people are talking about skills, communication skill, analytical skill, problem solving skills, writing skills, right? So there are so many skills around us. So your success is measured from the skills that you develop. That is also a very important thing, and that is one of the vital reason that you learn things. You don't learn things only to pass exams. Passing exams is also important, but when you learn, when you are a learned person, you have more skills or more developed skills than the others. So you will have skill development in sciences, engineering, medicine. You know that without development of these pure sciences, these applied sciences will never develop. Now, engineering and medicine are applied sciences. So all the things you learn and all the equipments, instruments, utensils, research methods, all these detectors in medicine, their basic principle lie in physics and chemistry. Of course, you need technology and engineering. But if you look through all your even if you think of the thermometer, very simple measuring instrument, I mean, it's a physics principle. Now we have all these CAT scan, MRI machines, PET scans, all these new technologies. The basic principles are in physics, and some of them are in chemistry also. That's why most of the developed countries spend a lot of money to develop pure research. If you don't develop pure research, applied sciences will never develop. Sometimes the people living in our country, they don't believe in this. Technology and engineering and medicine won't come from heaven unless you develop your scientific skills, basic pure scientific skills. These applied sciences will never develop in the world. So now physics has gone not only into engineering and medicine, even economics, finance and management. You might not believe this, but which is very true, because some students when they have after they have graduated from our universities, sometimes they go abroad and do their higher studies. Sometimes physics graduates they get jobs in stock market, because the skills that you have developed by learning physics and mathematics, you can apply those models and mathematics and physics ideas into stock market solutions also. Now, physics also has a lot of branch subjects. Now, you talk about there is a subject emerging in everywhere in the world, biophysics, because you want to understand biological systems using physics principles, medical physics, then chemical physics. Even there are some departments in USA devoted to econophysics. Econophysics means economics and physics. So even one of our Max special graduate is heading that department. So you don't think that by learning sciences and mathematics, even you can do other jobs, because you have that basic skills compared to sometimes art students. I am not degrading art students, but science students should have that important skills developed in you, because you all are learning a very nice and interesting subjects. So whatever you do in your life later on, you should be able to do those without any fail. You will be successful. So then lastly, I would say physics is the basis of most modern technology. And for the tools and instruments used in scientific, engineering and medical research and development, manufacturing is dominated by physics-based technology. This is very true. All our manufacturing processes are dominated by physics-based technology. Of course, you need physics, technology, engineering, we need all these subjects. We can't say that we need only engineers. We can't say we need only technologies. We need physics people also. Otherwise, the nation or the country and the world will not develop because their counterpart, their working experiences are different. So whatever you do, sciences, what scientists are finding, then it goes to development and technology and engineering. If the scientists didn't develop things, all these new ideas were developed by scientists, isn't it? Then they go to technology and engineering and medicine. But the third thing that I want to mention is, but physics is challenging. That's why sometimes students don't like physics. Physics is a challenging subject. You can't cram physics. You have to understand physics. If you understand physics, physics is the most wonderful, enjoyable subject that you ever encounter in life. I'll tell you. So because of physics is challenging, this is the one aspect that scares off many students. But as young students, that's why you have to do this. Because as young students, you have to take up the challenges in life. If something is not challenging, why do you want to do this? Because always as human beings, we want to foresee or we want to do something again. When the challenges comes, we want to succeed by finding out solutions. Even now, we are facing a challenge. It's COVID-19 challenge. So human beings somehow they will get a victory out of this. Maybe it might take 6 months, 1 year, but human beings won't fail actually. They will find solutions for this. Then another one will come. So always human beings are like that. They don't give up. If human beings give up, then the whole universe or the world will collapse. So always in life you get challenges. So you have to face the challenges. So that's why physics, I would say, physics is challenging. So those are the three important aspects that I want to teach you. Physics is interesting, physics is useful, but physics is challenging. Now I would like to give you some hints. If you want to get a good grade in physics, these are the most important thing that I think. Maybe there are so many other reasons or so many other effects or so many other facts. But I would say in order to get a good grade, you have to start from the first year. If you all are first year or grade 12 students, you don't wait till the last moment because the A level is a very competitive exam. So you have to do very well, especially if you want to go to some field that you like to do, or sometimes you want even sometimes maybe most of you all want to do engineering and medicine. But even after that, then you want to pick up the university. I want medicine at that university. I want engineering at that university. So therefore, unless you do good job, unless your research scores are high, you won't be able to enter the stream that you like to enter and the university that you want to enter. So there are two things. So you have to be very good. Sometimes you have to be good to select for the course that you like, but you may not like the university. But all universities are same actually. But sometimes you prefer this university over the other. Those are social things. So you have to work hard. So when you work hard, your work should be methodical and complete. You can't do a half-hearted things. Always you have to do things methodical and your things has to be very complete. Now I think maybe after the schools are open, I always tell the students to go to schools because now there's a trend that you don't go to schools. Slowly depends on the tuition classes. But I always say that there are very good students who do very well. Actually, they go to schools as well. I am not asking you not to go to tuition classes. I am not against tuition nor any tuition masters. They are also doing a wonderful job. But try to attend the schools, because from schools also you can learn a lot. You can face your teacher because you know your teacher very well. Sometimes in these big classes, tuition classes, I think the numbers are large. So you have no time to talk to your tuition teacher. So in the school teacher, it's not like that. You can discuss your problems, you can get the solutions. So always you can talk to him or her. So therefore, I always suggest go to schools as well. And now this is always I tell students, do not attend too many tuition classes. That is very, very wrong. For some students I know, they sometimes per subject, they attend maybe 2 or 3 tuition classes. But that is not warranted, because why do you want to go to so many tuition classes? So you pick one tuition teacher. Now there's a trend, this online lessons. Also, I would say that some students face a lot of difficulty. Sometimes some students sit in front of the computer or your mobile phone from morning to evening, even some nights. That also has become sometimes nuisance now. So I wonder, I am afraid that by doing this online, you might become offline. So always be selective. Now sometimes you want to attend this online class, that online class. And so your friends say, this online class is good. So there are so many. Now there are so many. So you can't listen to everybody. How can you? We are human beings. So pick one or two, or maybe at least one. I won't say don't follow online classes, but always be. Always you have to have your mind should be very free, and you have to be selective. If you attend a lot of online classes, actually, at the end of the day, you are very tired and you have no time to do your self study. Then always I say that once a unit completes, so there are several units, as you all know, say mechanics, measurements, units, heat, like that. So once a unit completes, work out questions given by your teacher or tuition teacher and related past papers. That is a must by yourself. That is a very important thing, because always students have this habit of getting their work done by the teacher. You ask the teacher to work the problem for you. That is not a good practice, because when you go to the exam, then you are alone because you have no experience. So try to work out these problems by your own. This is very, very, very important. Most of the students I know, you all are very brilliant, but sometimes you are lazy. You don't want to work out problems by your own. You always want to ask or refer to a book, or before you read the question, you want to know the solution. That is a very bad practice. Always try first, because when you try, your mind works, your brain works. At the end of the day, if you can't find the solution, then you can get help. That is all right. But before trying, if you try to find the solutions at the beginning, then our mind, the chain, the way that mind works, interrupts. So you don't gain anything. Maybe at that moment you will be happy, but when you face the exam, because you have no experience at all, because there is nobody to help you at that time. So this is also very important. For multiple choice questions, always try to arrive at the answers without lengthy calculations. This is the most important thing. Because if you look around all the years, always students grumble about this MCQ paper. They always say not enough time. This is a common thing in physics, right? Depending on the year, it might go up and down, but always they say that time is not enough. They don't say actually the problems are hard, but they say time is not enough. So there's a time management problem also here. Always there's no point of now if you can work out the problems, but that is not that is also important, but that is not the only thing. Now within that 2 hours you should be able to do this. If you take 3 hours to do the 50 problems, then your time management is gone. So therefore, why most of the students say that they don't have enough time, because they always go to lengthy calculations. Sometimes some things you can do mentally. You all can do this, but the problem is you don't want to do it. You are not used to, or you are not You have not tried hard enough in order to do that way. So use your logical and analytical skills to solve the MC. I will I have picked some few questions from the last year's paper. I'll explain that. So this is the thing always. Now for the second paper, normally students don't grumble, but MCQ always you grumble. Oh, I didn't have time. I didn't have time, and then you sort of blackguard everybody, and then even setters, father and mother, even the ancestors, and you come home. That is also a bad thing. No, sometimes if you can't do something, you blackguard the others. So you have to practice this straight away. When you go to do the exam paper, you can't do that. You have to have a good practice. So unless you practice these questions, you won't be able to do a good job at the exam paper. Because we are very moderate now. I am a very moderate person. I am not a genius. Right? I am a very mediocre person. But if I can do it, I think you all can do this. It's not that always you say, no, we can't do that. I'll show you. You all can do this, but the problem is you don't try this out that way. You are not thinking along those lines. So that is a very important thing. Always, every day before you go to bed, try to recollect what you have learned on that day and do a self-assessment. What went wrong and what are difficult things that you want to learn later on. So try to sort of recap what you all have done on that day. And do all the experiments, not merely on the white or the blue board. When we were students, we had only black boards. Now most of the students, they do the experiments also on the board. So doing these experiments is a must. Because when you do something, you learn, not by looking at things. So don't even ask the teacher to do it for you. You have to do this. So when you try to do this only, you find the difficulties. Otherwise, you will never learn. So do all the experiments because experiments are very essential in the structured paper. So that's why you want to learn these things. Right? So if you learn things by your own, then when the question time comes, you should be able to answer because you all have done this. That is the nature of human beings. If you do something, those things will stuck in your mind. If you just look it, you forget. So try to do those experiments. And essay type semi-structured questions, now even though the part B of the question paper says essay type, I think from 90s onwards, even 2000 onwards, they are all semi-structured. Not essay type. Semi-structured means small parts. So therefore now some students grumble that the questions are very long. So don't try to count the number of words in a question. That has no meaning. Because these questions have been long for your benefit, not for anybody's benefit. Because when there is semi-structured, small part by part, you do this first, then second, then next, then it is easy for you to tackle the problem. So don't blackguard or grumble saying that these questions are very lengthy. Most of the time, if you look at the after 1990s, physics essay type or semi-structured problems are based on real life situations. Real life situations. These are not just the questions what you find in books most of the time. They are all related to some application or real life situation. So just first you just skim through. You don't have to read word to word because those questions are not love letters. No? Love letter, of course, you have to read carefully, one word by one word, because at the beginning someone might say I love you, but at the end of the day they might say I don't love you. So don't try to read word by word at the beginning. Just start the problem. Just skim through the problem. If you think that you can do the problem, just start doing it. Then one part by one part by one part, like a stream of water flowing, you should be able to come to the end. So try to analyze these questions like that way. Don't say they are very long, right? They are divided into so parts by the setters for you to work it out easily. Otherwise, anybody can ask a question just straight away. When you divide into small parts, even if you don't arrive at the final part, you might get at least 50%, 60% of marks. If you are good, you can get even 100. So think along those lines. These are very things you have to think positively. Now, when you say positively, you have to be careful, but you have to think positively, right? So you have to do your MCQs promptly. Time management is important because time management is very important in life. You have to do a job within that time. Say, suppose when you go for work, your boss might say, I want this work by next day, tomorrow. You can't say, no, I will do it after a week time. You might do a good job, but the boss will not like that because he wanted that after one day. So you have to do it. That's a must. So this time management is also very, very important in life. So that's when you do a physics MCQ paper, you have to manage your time properly. To manage your time properly, you have to do these simple calculations most of the time mentally. That is the most thing that the students do this. I mean, that is the most bad thing, worst thing that the students do, because they take lot of time to do small calculations. Without writing on paper, most of the students can't do this. It's not that you can't do it, you have not trained to do it. Without training, you can't do it. So even from today, try to get this advice. Try to work out the problems within a very short time. Most of the simple calculations you can do mentally. Divisions, multiplications, you should be able to do mentally rather than writing down very lengthy rough work. I'll show you some of the examples. Now the final thing is, the final most important thing to obtain high grades: self-study, self-study, self-study. Nothing else but the self-study. This is the part that most of the students are lacking. You go to schools, you go to tuition classes, sometimes some teachers come to your home visits. So you always ask your teacher to do the problems. Not you won't do it. You like others to do things for you. You don't try hard. So this is one of the most disastrous thing that had happened in our education system, because the self-study is very, very minimal. Very good students, actually, they do their self-study. That's why I ask you to not to go to too many tuition classes, because then at the end of the day you are tired and you have no time to do your self-study. Self-study is must. Now, even when you all come to universities nowadays, now it's like the old-fashioned universities are gone now. Now even our education system, new people or the new methodologies tell you not to teach you a lot. You have to learn by yourself. They say teachers and lecturers are facilitators, not really teachers to spoon feed you. So you have to work hard. You have to do your own work. Teachers will guide you. So this is a very must. So always think of this self-study part has to be done promptly and properly. Otherwise, even if you go to 1,000 tuition classes, you will never be able to get a high grade. So the number of tuition classes is not linear function of your grade. Of course, you have to go to a tuition class. I am not saying not to. But once you learn something, your self-study is a very, very important thing. Now I have picked 5 or 6 questions from the last year's paper. Then I'll show you now. This is the second question. This is about the micrometer screw gauge. Now this has been asked so many even past papers you will find this. Even in your tutorials you will find this type of problems. So you have to do this quickly. That is the most important thing. That's why you say that time is not enough. Now you should be able to do this problem without doing any rough work. So you have to, when I say like that, you have to adhere to that. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, because I am not a genius. I am a very, very mediocre person. Right? So can you do this without doing any rough work? This has been asked in past papers. Now if you look at this, this you will find these are the places. I mean, this is without any object, so this gives a 0 error. 0 is 0.03. Straight away you can see that. You don't have to write it down. Most of the past paper questions also, the 0 error is equal to 0.03. Why? Because most of these micrometer screw gauges, this 0 error is normally 0.03. Because you can see the 0 slightly here. So this is 0.03. Then we'll go to this side. Now what is the reading here? 2, 3, 3.5. It has passed 3.5 now. So therefore from here is 31. So 3.5 times 31 is 3.81. This is 31 now. So 3.5, you have to be careful because 5 is passed. So 3.5 plus 31 divisions for 3.81. But that is not the answer because you had a 0 error 0.03. So you have to subtract it, no? Just use your common sense, because it is already, when you turn it, you have turned this way. So this is, if 0 was here, then there is no 0 error. But already 0.03 has gone. 0.03 has already gone without the objective, even without the object. So you have to subtract that 0.03 from 3.81. So 3.81, you subtract 0.03 from 3.81, you get 3.78. So can you do this without any rough work? I know most of the students, they will write it down in piece of paper, write it down. Why do you want to do that? Because these are very bread and butter questions. Everybody has done this. So try to do this quickly. That's the most important thing. If you do it quickly, you can try all the 50 questions. Otherwise, when you come to 30 or 35, your 2 hours has elapsed. Then you blackguard the others and come home. So just, I mean, you all can do this. You all are very young people. No, your brains are much more advanced than my brain. Why not? Because you all are young. Now you know how to go to Facebook. You know how to do things in very short time. You pata you type. We can't do that actually. When I try to send SMS, I take a lot of time, to tell you the truth. But you all are genius on these things. So if you all can type pata, why can't you do these calculations promptly? 0.03 here, just 0.03. This is 3.81. So you have to subtract that. So the answer is 3.78. Now the fourth question. I have picked some questions from mechanics and that unit, because there are 12th grade students as well. So most probably they would have done the mechanics part. You all have finished. Now this also, do you need any rough work? No, you don't need rough work. Why do you want rough work for this? Now this is velocity and time. So the problem is, what is the average velocity? But average velocity you should know. Average velocity is total displacement divided by the total time elapsed. That you all have learned. If you didn't know that, then of course you can't do this. Average velocity is defined that average velocity is total displacement divided by the total time. So in a VT curve, displacement is equal to what? Area under the curve. So just calculate the area under the curve. Even these dotted lines or the broken lines are given by setters. because you can get the area very easily. That's why I think they have given the broken lines. So what is the area of this part? 3 times 3. To multiply 3 times 3, do you need rough work? Can't you do it mentally? Now when you go to a shop, sometimes the Mudalali Mahatya, he calculates this just like this, pata pata. So why can't you do this? You all are very young people, very brainy people, no? Very technologically advanced people. We are not like that. 3 times 3 is 9, no? So this area is 9. What is this area? 1 times 1, because this height is 1, this distance is 1. So what is the total area? 9 plus 1 is 10. And what is the total time elapsed? 4. So 10 divided by 4. That's the answer. But then when you look at the answers, it has been simplified. So 10 divided by 2, you can simplify, no? Can't you simplify in your head? These are not, I mean, you all do so many, you send SMS, you send this and that, you imagine things. So how many things you do in your, using your mind? So can't you divide 10 by 4 in your mind? 10 by 4, you just divide by 2, this is 5 over 2. 5 over 2 is 2.5. So always I say you all can do this without expending lot of time. So always what the students do is, I have seen this, whatever said and done, even sometimes teachers are doing like that way. That's the most annoying part. Always when you look at a problem, MCQs are different from essay type questions. MCQs are MCQs, multiple choice. You have to do it quickly. So these are all simple solutions, simple calculations. It's not difficult. So get there 3 times 3, 1 times 1, 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. So if you can do this without any rough work, then you can save your time. I know whatever said and done, you don't do this way. That's the problem. You are trained to do this. You write this 3 times 3 plus 1 times 1, then divide by 4. How many steps you do this? How many steps you take to do this? But this is very straightforward, 3 times. That's why these dotted lines or the broken lines they are to get the areas very nicely. So you can't get the area at once, know the complete thing. Because this is a rectangle, this is also actually not a rectangle, this is a square, no? 1 and 1. So if you don't know the area of a rectangle, then don't go to the exam. 3 times. So this is 0, starts from 0, 0. So everything is nice. This is 3, everything is mentioned here, everything is marked here. 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 1 is 1, 9 plus 1 is 10, 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. Now, this I have picked. I know most of the students may have spent a lot of time on this. I can feel it. Now you have to find the composite, the center of gravity of the composite object from X. These are all thin wires. Radius are R2R, 2R, 3R. This R2R, 2R, 3R. So this is my rough work. Can you do this like this way? You can. It's not that you can't. Don't always say, no, we can't do that way. You can do it, but you have to train to do this way. This is the difficult part. If you train, you have to have a good eye. You have to sense these problems. So there are these wires, thin wires. So I know most of the students how you do this. You put the mg here, draw the force. mg, 2 mg, 3 mg, here also mg. Then you take moments around x. What the hell? Now when you look at the problem, you can see the B and C, their masses are same. Actually mass of the wire goes with the radius, because the thin wires, no? So mass of the wire is proportional to the circumference, no? The circumference is large, mass is large. So therefore, if the radius is r, actually you don't have to worry about even R, you can put the R later on. This is 1, 2, 2, 3 like. So masses goes, if this mass is M, this is 2M, this is 3M. Can't you do that in your mind? And the other thing is there are two circles here and here, B and C. One is left hand side, other one is right hand side. So actually you don't have to, when you want to take the multiplications or the moments, you don't have to take that, because anyway we know B and C, those two circles, the center of gravity automatically comes here. Because there are two equal masses at the left hand side and right, like a seesaw. You have the same mass. If you have the same mass both sides, the center of gravity comes right into the middle. So therefore no point of taking moment. Even if you take the moments, this moment will be positive and this moment will be negative. So it cancels off. So why do you take these two into consideration when you take the multiplications or the moments? But to take the total mass, you have to consider that. Don't forget that. So when I am doing this like this way. Now this mass I take it as 1 unit. This mass I take it as 2 units. This mass I take it as 3 units. Because there are R2, R2, R3, R. But this one is at the moment I just forget about it when you take the moment. So if you take starting from this point, this mass is 1, no? 1 unit. So 1 times 1. So R is also R. R you can take it as 1 unit. 1, 2, 2, 3. So this is 1 times 1. I don't consider this because I know B and C, the center of gravity, exactly come to the middle. So no point of taking like denna thing. You have two things and right in the middle. Sanchi madde. So you take 1 times 1, 3 times 3. 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 3 is 9. That is 1 plus 9. What is the total mass? 1, 2, 3, 2. So look at it, 1, 2, 2, 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 times 2 is 7, 7 plus 1 is 8. So center of gravity lies 1 plus 9 divided by 8. That is 10 divided by 8. 10 divided by 8 you can simplify further. That is what? 10 divided by 8. You can divide by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 4 over 5. This is the answer. This is my rough work. Can you do this way? Can you do this way? I am challenging you all. You all can do this. It's a matter of changing your mindset. It's a matter of changing your mindset. You are not learned or you are not taught to do this way. So I always pledge teachers and tuition teachers to teach the students this way. I have seen so many solutions in the YouTube. They are also doing these old-fashioned lengthy ways. So if the teachers can't do this, how can students can do this? So you don't have to waste time, right? Because this and this, you don't have to worry about it. B and C, center of gravity, rightly come to the middle. But even if you take moments, they cancel off. Therefore, what you have to worry is A and D. So if the mass of A is 1, mass of D is 3. So when you take moments from here, it is 1 times 1. R no, 1 unit. And 3 times 3. R is 3. Circumference also 3 times. 3 times 3. So 1 plus 9 is 10. But when you want to get the total mass, you have to, don't disregard these two. I saw one of the these internet answers. He or she has forgotten this B and C masses. Those things can happen. Even we do mistakes. We are human beings now. Human beings always can do mistakes. But you all can't do mistakes, because if you do mistakes, your marks will be deducted. We have done our mistakes so many years ago. Now nobody will look at us, even if you do a mistake. So, so therefore total mass is 8. Even total mass, you don't have to put M's and M's, I mean M2, M. I know you all do. This is the traditional way of doing things. M, Mg, 2 Mg. Sometimes some students might write M1G, M2G, M3G. What the hell? Can't you multiply this straight away? Mass is 1, 1 times 1. Mass is 3, 3 times 3, because you don't have to get the products from this and this. Anyway, that comes to the middle. But total mass is 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. That is 8. So, in my if I do this exam, my question, my rough work is only this. When I did my A level, I didn't do this way. Frankly, I did my A level in 1974. Nobody taught us this way. So I also did the same way that you all are doing right now. So forgive me for saying that. Now I am doing this way. I look at these problems in a different point of view. I always see this as MCQs, multiple choice questions. So multiple choice questions, you have to tackle them as multiple choice, short methods. Sometimes some people say this is against physics. No, it's not against physics. You are doing the logics. Actually, this is logical thinking. Why do you want to do? Now I know some students, they when you look at their rough worksheet, they write, I don't know how many rough sheets they have, about 10, 20. Sometimes when they get the final answer, they even draw the 2 lines underneath the right answer. Who cares? You take those 2 lines and go home. Just do this quickly. If you train to do this way, you can do this. You can do. So from here onwards, always think about it. Right? Think about in your heart, I can do this. I can do this method. So if you do this way, you will have even ample time to do these 50 questions. Because when we did our A level, we had 75, 80 questions in 2 hours. We didn't grumble. We didn't blackguard the people. So we knew that we couldn't do that. Now then it was changed to 60. Now it is 50. So time management is very, very important when you tackle this type of problems. Then I'll come to this problem. Now this is also a very famous problem, no? Famous problem. This was given in even 1989. Even I think the frictional coefficient of friction is same. Maybe the masses are different. This problem is normally there in your tutorials. But here also, this is my rough work. I won't write anything more than this. Now what you do is always this problem, you draw the force, T here, T here, T here, T here. What the hell, you don't have to worry about the pulley. Then you say mu R1, here mu R1 mg, M1g, M2g, R1, R2. Why do you want to draw the forces like that? Just apply the force F equals ma, because this is going with uniform velocity. So acceleration is 0. So forces, when you apply F equals ma, apply to both A and B. When you apply F equals ma for both, the frictional forces here cancels off. This is the easy way, because there will be frictional force here as well as here. But this frictional force won't cancel, because that happens between the surface, or the earth, or the platform, or the table, and the object B. Now block B. Here when you take A and B together, here the frictional forces cancel with each other. From this one to this side, this one to this. You don't have to draw all these things. Why do you want to draw? I will never draw any force here. I am not saying that is against physics. If you do this problem in a essay type paper, please do that. But MCQ, nobody cares of drawing the forces unless it asks for. So I will apply F equals ma for both. Then F equals, when you apply, because this is constant speed, so no acceleration, so force, you have to balance the forces. So force is equal to what? You get the friction, here friction you have to consider. That friction is mu r. Mu is given. So I write mu as 1 over 4. Sometimes it's easy when you write 1 over 4, because it simplifies easy. So but when you take r here, you have to be careful. You have to take the weight of both blocks. So I will just go through here and 0.5 and 1. Can't I add 1 and 0.5? This is 1.5. So that is mg is you multiply it by g. So 1.5 times 10 is 15. So mu r will be 104 times 15 plus 2t. So there are 2 t's here. Then to find t, you apply F equals ma to this block. Then t will be equal to only this mu r. So straight away you can write, but always I know students, they do this conventional way. They draw all the forces in this here R1 mg, then apply this and simplify this in great detail. It takes time. So this is mu r, this is the frictional force between the block B and the flow. This frictional forces cancels off with each other. But you have left out with only t. 2t is there. Remember there's a t here, there's a t here, there's 2t. So to find t, you apply F equals ma for this. When you apply F equals ma horizontally, F will be equal to this mu r. So that straight away you can write mu is same. Now r comes only from the block A. Block A is 0.5, mg is 5, so 104 times 5. So 104 is common. I do this in my brain or somewhere, I don't know. 1/4 you can take it out. 2 times 5 is 10, 10 times 15 is 25, 25 divided by 4 is 6.25. So this is my rough work. If you all can do this way, I will guarantee you that you will be able to do all the problems in time. But if you do the conventional way, once you arrive at 30 questions, you won't have enough time. Conventional way is, when you look at this problem, I say R1, M1G, R2, M2G. Then you mark even T here. Even if you mark T here is alright, but don't mark T here because nobody asks about the pulley. But this is what you do, no? T here, mu r. Then you think, what to do. But I never mark anything here. Why? Can't I do it mentally? Because this problem I have seen earlier. So if F equals to this mu r plus 2t. What the hell? But to get that r, you have to add the two masses. That I can do mentally. Can't I add 1 plus 5? 1 plus 0.5. If I can't 1 plus 0.5, I won't be here. 1 plus 0.5 is 1.5 multiplied by g is 15. Then to find t, you apply F equals ma to this block. So you can see this is the way that you should inculcate. This is the way that you should do problems. So thank you very much for listening. Maybe I'll see you later.